Alrighty guys, welcome. Hey everyone. Uh, Hopefully my laptop is not going to lag. If it is, yeah, I don't know. Thanks a lot. Oh, salut Andrei. Let me know if the video quality it's okay, if you can hear me, if the sound in the background, yeah, if the volume is okay. How is everyone doing? Anyway, let's go to the thing. Yeah, okay. So let me show you what we are going to build, or at least try to achieve. So I was inspired by this guy Tao Nguyen. So we are going to build this wheel from here, from the bottom. Let me zoom a bit. Let me actually, yeah, so this wheel, you see, it's like if you're moving, you get this effect. So for that, we're going to use reanimated, gesture handler, and Expo, and math. I'm gonna show you like two different ways to actually achieve this, because we are going to so first we are going to define how many items or cards you'd like to display, and then based on how many items we are going to position them on the circle circumference, and there are two ways to actually calculate the position. One is to use XY coordinates. I'm not sure if you can see anything here. Let me, yeah, so you see some math formulas, nothing too fancy. But in a nutshell, basically, you can get the XY coordinates using math cosine and sinus. Basically, for the X, it's cos and cosine, and for Y, it's sine. If you can, let me see myself. So basically, you have this circle, right? Whoop, it's so hard, man. I'm gonna, anyway, so this is the formula. Zip, zip, zip. Anyway, so the thing is that you have the circle, and you have the circle here, and you like to have this this position. You can get the x, y and x axis, and draw basically the triangle that, and you'll know the angle, and you can do the cosine, for example, to get the x, because cosine will give you the how can I fucking explain it? It's a pen and a paper will always be helpful. But anyway, so cosine is going to give you the closest line, or the closest segment, meaning the OX, and sinus is going to give you the opposite. So if you have the triangle like this, if you apply a cosine of this angle, you'll get this this segment from here. If you apply a sine of this angle, it's going to give you this segment from here. Anyway, but we're not going to use XY. I'm gonna like create those methods just for you and for reference, but we're going to use angle, because it's easier, I believe. So yeah, angles. Let me change this bit here. Okay, let's do it. So first, let's create here a new project using Expo. So let me go to the coding session. And I'm gonna say npx create React Native app, create Expo app using TypeScript, and I'll be saying tarot wheel. Okay. Hopefully this is going to work sooner. What's going on? Do I have internet? Okay. If this is not going to work, guys, it's gonna be tough. Oh, do I have any predefined templates here? Pin code. If I do I have reanimated, of course, and gestures. Okay, let's reuse this one. Pin code is the previous tutorial, by the way. If you're new to this channel, is the previous tutorial. I was using it, but anyway. So man, my laptop it's exploding. Like, what the fuck? Anyway, so we have this guy here. Let me do inside the app. I'll remove everything. I'll export default function app. That's going. Oops. That's going to return a view and the text. Aloha. And I'll import the view and text from React Native. Nothing fancy. Okay. So now let's run this guy and npm. Do I have yarn? Nah. Npm start. I have no skills, guys. Let me know from where you are watching. I'm really curious. I'm in Prague now, but yeah. Oh man, this is getting too hot here. What's going on, guys? What's going on? Come on. I don't know what's actually going on. It seems that I'm offline. Wow, nice. Cluj, Sasaranayer. Nice. I don't know, guys, what's actually happening. Oh, I also have this guy here. Let me... I should have restarted my laptop before. Always have a backup. Expo offline, it's amazing. Let me put this down. Whoop. This guy from the chat spoke with me. Type, we used to be mates. It's a nice guy. What's actually happening, guys? I don't have it. There's a retarded. What's wrong with going on? New update, it's available. Okay. Expo, I need your help. Wow, Ukraine. Hopefully everything is fine with you, Yam. Tough times, man. Sorry. Or so the guys that came at AppJS are watching me online. That's pretty nice. What's happening here? Guys. With this laptop, you cannot do any development. Oh no, my coding thing. Alrighty. It's really laggy, guys. I have already coded half of the stream in my head. It's like ridiculous. But anyway, so since this is loading, I trust my skills. I have some images that we are going to use as background. Okay, so this is the text. Let me paste it here. So we are going to use this image. It's from FreePic. Let me also share it on the chat. Thanks, dude. Anyway, so this is the image that we're going to use as background for the cards, right? And let me also do Zen mode here, because so Zen mode, we don't need anything else. Alrighty, guys. Also Zen git lens. Okay, so let me center this one. This is ridiculous, guys. I don't have any like TypeScript, nothing. What's fucking happening? All right, so center, align items to the center, and I would also like to give it a background color of, let me copy some background that I have somewhere. All right, so everything should be here, and also flex one to flex. Anyway, so we have this this thing here, right? And the first thing that I would like to do here is to so I like to define basically the card size and also how many cards I would like to display first, right? So I'll say here number of cards, let's say 30, and I'll also create here a type card, which is what I have here. Card size, I'll have a width of how much I've said here, something. I'll also have a height, and I'll also have a border radius. Okay, and the size, let's say 120. So the width is going to be 120, and the height is going to be the golden anyway 167, and border radius 12. All right, and the card I know that I would like to, based on number of cards, I like to create the cards, right? And I'll say cards here, it's equal to an array starting from the number of cards. I'll get the keys, I'll map through them, and I'll get the index, and I'll return here the key, which is card, and then the index. I also have Copilot, that's why you have this guy here, and URI, it's the tarot card, whatever. And this type, it's actually the card, which is an array, and card is going to be string, URI string. Anyway, you can pass whatever, guys. This is just me playing around it here. And now let's create here tarot wheel, which is going to get the cards as cards. And yeah, that's it for now. And let's create the function tarot wheel. It's going to get the cards as cards, and it's going to return for now view text empty tarot wheel. Okay, so we have this guy here, and I've said that for, why is this not playing anymore? Okay. No, man, my connection is bad. I mean, I have fiber, but the problem is my laptop is really like struggling with life. Anyway, so what I wanted to do, right, is to basically position each individual card inside a circle. So in this way you can rotate, right? So you can create this wheel of fortune. So there are two ways, as I've mentioned initially. The first one is to get the XY coordinates for each individual card based on the index. But the other one is to actually get the angle, because you know how many cards are you going to display, you know the angle, because yeah, it's 2 times pi is the total amount of angle inside the circle. So you can divide that based on the number of cards, and you get in radians the angle for each individual card. And this is what we're going to use, because I would like to show you a hack how to actually rotate properly the cards. And yeah, you basically, you'll get the radius of the circle, and you wrap the card itself with a view that has the height, the circle diameter, which is 2 times the radius. So that in this way the origin, the transform origin, is going to be exactly in the middle of the circle, right? So let's start by defining 2 pi, which is, yeah, 2 pi. And now we are going to get the theta, which is the angle, right? The angle of the cards. In this case, we divide 2 pi by the number of cards, so we get the, yeah, the thing. we get the angle. This is angle for each card angle, or rotation for each individual card, right, inside the circle. And now, because we have this guy here, I would also like to say card visibility percentage. So if I'm going back to this guy here, let's so you see this card is not fully visible. It's 50% or whatever, and I would like to define that as well. So initially it's going to be 1, let's say, but it's const. But I would like to start with 0.5. So 50% is going to be basically visible, right? And now I can also calculate the card size inside the circle. So card size within the the circle based on which I can actually from which I can derive the circle radius, if that makes sense. Because in this way, if I'm positioning those cards one after the other, let's assume that everything is going to be visible. I can get the, based on number of cards and the size itself, I can calculate the radius, right? So the radius, it's 2pr basically, right? So if I'm saying here it's 2pr, it's equal to the circle circumference, right? So this is the math formula, right? So 2pr is the circle circumference, which is the length of the circle. And because we know the card size, we can basically derive the radius, right? So the circle circumference basically in our case is going to be the card size multiplied by the number of cards, because I would like to create a circle based on how many cards we have, right? So from this formula we can actually, oh man, math, get the r, right? So it's this guy here, so card size multiplied by number of cards divided by 2pi, right? Oh fuck, damn it. Oh, fucking shit. Anyway, so yeah, so oh man, I was not anyway. So 2pr is the length of the circle, right? As I mentioned. Oh, let me change the sound here. Fuck. Anyway. Okay, so 2pr is the length of the circle, which in our case, we know that we would like to get the radius based on how many items, right? So it's the length of the circle, and we would like to display the card inside. You can think about like this, right? So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then you morph them into a circle shape. Anyway, so 2pr is the length of the circle, and we know the length of the circle because it's how many cards we have multiplied by the card size, and this is equal to 2pr. So from this formula we can actually derive the radius, which in our example is going to be card size multiplied by the number of cards divided by 2 pi, right? Anyway, so the card size in our case is going to be the card visibility percentage multiplied by the width that we have defined here in this object, right? So card size is going to be card size width multiplied by the card visibility percentage, because again in this case we don't want to display the full card. It doesn't actually matter, it's just a percentage. If you are going to do 1, you'll see in a minute. Let me do the following. And now we have the card size, and with the card size let's derive the radius, right? So we are going to say how is it, the radius? Let me change the sound. Okay, so the radius is going to be so radius is going to be card size number. It's, yeah, this is it. Okay, and I would like to also have let me also get the width. So width is going to be dimensions, get window. Anyway, and I'll also like to say the radius, actually it's circled radius, it's the max between this guy and width. Yeah, width, why not? So the radius, the minimum radius is going to be either this or the width of the screen. Okay, so now that we have this guy here, Actually, let me do divide by 2. Doesn't actually divide by 2. I just wanted to show it on the screen. So now, because we have this guy here, let me change this. We can display the circle, right? So let's display the circle. We are going to have a view, style flex one, and I'm gonna justify again the center, or do I actually need this? We don't need this flex. We're going to have a width, which is the circle radius, height, circle radius, background color, red, also border radius, circle radius. So it's going to be here, right? And we can also align things, right? So justify the items to the center, align items to the center, and I'll also like to align self to the center. Right? So everything is centered inside the center, because we are going to position this absolute at a point in time, right? And now inside this, we can actually iterate over the cards that we have defined here, and we are passing them as props, and display a tarot card, whatever. So cards. What's fucking happening here? So it's dim dim, and we are going to return a tarot card. We are going to pass the index. Key is going to be card.key, and the card itself, right? And we need to define this function. It's going to receive the card and the index, and is going to return here a view. You'll see in a minute why it's a view, and an image with the source URI. It's card.uri, and the style, I'll say width is going to be the card size width, height is going to be card size height, border radius is going to be border radius, and I'll also like to have the yeah, let's save it. Let's see how everything is going to look, if it's going to look. It's not going to look properly. Why is that? Oh yeah, okay, my internet connection is really retarded. Okay, so it's we have it here, but the hack here is that I'm not going to use XY to position the cards. I'm going to apply for each individual card here the height of the circle diameter. So it's going to be exactly the height of the circle, and so we can use the rotation. And because the transform origin is going to be directly in the middle of the circle. So let me show you here. So style, let me play around with a smaller percentage, like 10 cards for now. Okay, so we have 10 cards. So we are going to, this is the wrapper, right? So the wrapper is going to have the width, it's a card size width, but the height is going to be circle radius multiplied by 2. And background color, I'll say green. And if I have only one card, you see, it's going to take the entire space, right? The entire available space. So in this way, the middle, the transform origin is going to be the middle of the circle. So we can rotate properly without doing any transform origins and whatnot. So yeah, pretty much you get this for free, right? So what we actually need to do I have the theta? Of course I have the theta. So theta is the angle, right? So if I'm saying here transform rotate by the theta multiplied by the index in radians, you'll see in a minute if I'm saying 2 cards, the other card it's rotated like I hope it makes sense. Let me do 4. So you see everything it's rotated, but the problem is that we don't display them on absolute position. So we can actually say here position absolute, and yeah, they are going to be displayed absolute, but this is something wrong, right? Let me do here 60. Yeah, so boom, boom, boom. Yeah, this is looking right. You don't see this one because it has a lower Z index compared to this one. So if I remove the background green and do RGBA, actually I can, yeah, RGBA like this, you'll see that those are properly displayed here, right? So now I can remove the background, and I can also do 12 cards, right? So we are going to position them next to each other, which is anyway. So I would like to have like 20 cards, right? And as you can see, right, this is how it's looking like. But again, this is working because the center, the transform origin is in the middle of the circle. If you really want to do the x and y values, you can define him here, like card coordinates is going to be a function that's going to take the index, is going to return a number, and is going to return x, which is math caused by theta and the circle radius, and y is the scene, right? If you really want to position everything. Anyway, so yeah, we are not going to use this one xy values because the image wrapper has height equal to circle diameter, and so the transform origin is going to be in the middle of the circle, and we can directly use the rotation instead. Anyway, you get the point. Yeah. So now we have those guys. Let me remove the red. Okay, and let me now position this at the bottom. So position absolute. Actually, let me style a bit this. So border width it's 4, and border color is going to be white. Okay, so we have this. And by the way, if we are going to change this percentage, so if we are going to say 1, you'll see that they are going to be like why is not working card size? I need to refresh. 0.2. Why is this not working? Car visibility. It should work, right? Oh yeah, of course, because we haven't touched the, and if I say here 20, man, my laptop is so slow. Anyway, so this should work, I believe, if I say here divided by 2, and now I say 0.1. Yeah, okay, so this is working. So the percentage, if it's 1, it's going to, yeah, touch. This is basically, if you apply Pythagoras, you can add 1 plus how much is this triangle here. You can calculate this one, which is so it's the hypotenuse here is going to be the square root of this, which is going to be height power of 2 plus actually know the angle, right? So so we have this card and this card, so it's going to be yeah, it's more than Pythagoras actually. So I believe it should be what's the angle? Anyway, I think that it's going to be plus, I believe, the angle. So if you have the angle, you know this angle here, which is going to be sinus by the angle. Yeah, it's sine by the angle, I believe. Anyway, plus math sine by theta, not divided by 2. Anyway, let's keep it at 0.7, let's say. So we have those cards here. Now I would like to position this at the bottom. So if I go to this, position absolute, and I'll say top is going to be height. Let me take the height. So top is going to be height, so it's going to move this at the bottom, and then I would like to move it up a bit. Minus circle radius, actually card size multiplied by 2. Minus card height, sorry. Size height. Yeah, it's okay, 0.5. Okay, so this is looking quite good, I believe. Anyway, so now we can do the minimum border radius to be width, okay? Anyway, so we have this guy here, and we are going to use reanimated and gesture handler to animate the wheel. So here inside this tarot wheel, we can define the gesture, and we are going to use the pan gesture. So I'll say gesture is equal to gesture pan, and we need to wrap this guy here with a gesture detector, and we can pass the gesture as a gesture, right? So now we also need to have a distance. So the distance is going to be a shared value starting from 0. So what we are going to do is, whenever you pan, we are going to apply a distance, which is how much from the circle circumference have you moved, right? Based on which we can rotate. Yeah, so the distance is here, and we would like to modify this distance while panning, right? And we are going to use the onChange event. We are going to get the event, and we are going to say distance.value is equal to event.changex. And let's see it like that, and apply this distance. Basically, this changex it's actually plus equal. So the changex is how much have you moved, and it's going to move, how much have you moved as the gesture, right? And you also have the translation. It's event translation x, which is saying how much have you moved within this whole pan gesture event. But we would like to modify it because you can let it go, and yeah, this changex, it's I think it's between 0 and 1. How much at 60 FPS have you moved, pretty much. Anyway, so we are changing the distance here, right? And we would like to get an angle. And to do the angle, as I mentioned previously, its angle is going to be the right value, and we are going to return the distance, that value, by the circle by man, I cannot even anyway, by the circle circumference. Circle circumference, and the circle circumference is going to come from this variable, which is 2 pi multiplied by the circle radius. This is the circle circumference, right? The length of the circle, if you want. And this angle is going to be in radians. So let me transform this to be an animated view, and paste it down here. And styles. Let me change the music a bit. Okay, animated, undefined, it's coming from react-native-reanimated, and styles is going to be a use animated style, and we are going to return here transform, and we are going to say rotate the angle in radians. Right? So this actually saved. Okay. So now if I move it, you see it's actually, what the fuck? Oh, you cannot see my screen, guys. Anyway, so now you see it's moving a bit, right? And the thing is that this gesture is not enough. So we move too slow, right? And we would like to compensate with a factor. So we are going to multiply it with the change factor, and the change factor is going to be the let's do it here. So the change factor is going to be the width of the screen. Actually, it's the circle radius divided by the width, right? So if the circle it's larger, right? The circle circumference, fucking shit. So we are going to rely on the screen size in order to move the circle, right? So now if I save, the change factor is going to be kick, so we are moving the circle faster, right? Anyway, okay, and with this in mind, we can also apply here on finalize. On finalize, when the gesture is actually finished, we are going to get a velocity based on which we are going to apply a decay. So the distance value is going to be with decay, and the velocity, we don't need any trick here. I'm just pressing save, right? So I'm saying, okay, so when this gesture is going to finalize and let it go, apply a decay, or continue with the velocity that you have that you had when you have released the gesture. So now if I hit save and release the gesture, you'll see that actually I also need to do the velocity factor is the change factor. Okay, hit save now, and if I release the finger, it's not working. So is the velocity, that's a bummer. Oh yeah, of course. Damn, I believe that I need to wrap everything. Gesture handler root, I believe, right? Why is this not the problem with the problem is that there is no velocity on my simulator. That's the problem. So let me open up my Expo client. I'm not logged in here. Let me open up the Terminator, the item, and do Expo login. Yes. Okay. So now, if I restart, oh, it's offline. Let's start again online. Hopefully, it's going to work, because I want to show you how it's actually working. I'll show you the final version, but the problem is the thing is that, let me do the just me stuff. So you see, when you release the finger, there is going to be a decay, right? Oof. Anyway, but it seems that on my simulator is not working, and for some reason the VS Code doesn't have any internet access. I'll never do any live streaming again, dudes. I will not do any live stream sooner. because my laptop it's mad, man. It's mad. Anyway, let me restart the process here in offline mode. Let me refresh the app. Okay, so basically what we did, let me close this terminal here. So what we did, it's we have wrapped this entire wheel using a gesture detector, and we have converted the view into an animated view, and we are creating a gesture which is a pan gesture, and for the onChange event we would like to modify a distance based on how much have you changed on the x-axis, and when you release the gesture I would like to apply the velocity to the distance, because we are going to have the final velocity, and I'm also applying a velocity factor here. So the distance is going to start from 0, and based on which we are going to determine the angle. The angle, it's basically the distance that you have moved divided by the circle circumference, which is 2 pi multiplied by the radius. All right, so this is how it is, right? And now we are moving those guys. Oh, actually, you see, from time to time this is actually working. I don't know how. Yeah, it's maybe from my. No, it's not. It's not taking into account the velocity. I don't know how to do it properly on my simulator, but anyway. So now what we would like to do is to create 2 different indexes. So this is the tricky part, right? The tricky part is to animate also the item itself. So if you go to this video, you see that based on wherever you are positioned, you see this card, it's going to move up. And to do it, we need to have 2 different indexes, a floating index and a rounded index. So we are going to have a float active index, which is a shared value. It's not a shared value, it's actually derived from the angle. So we are going to get this active float index basically based on how much have you moved, right? Or let me call it interpolated index, which is a float value of the index. So we need to get the x, which is the absolute value of the angle value modulo the pi, basically 2 pi, right? So in this way we get where you are, kinda, and we divide this by theta. So how to oops, let me return this one. So return x. So what's basically this saying, it's so you have an angle, right? And I would like to get the index based on the angle, and let's say that it's we know the circle, right? The circle is 2 pi, and the angle, it's basically, if we do the angle modulo 2 pi, it's within a circle. No, let me remove everything. So the thing is that you can move more than one circle angle, right? So first we would like to make all the calculations within 360 degrees or 2 pi. That's why we do modulo 2 pi. So in this way we get a value from 0 to 2 pi, and then we divide this by theta. Theta being the angle for each individual index. So this is going to give us the floating angle this is angle. This angle? No, is this index? What have I done? So Zen mode. Okay, so this is going to be inside one circle rotation, and this is going to give us the float index. Right. Okay, hopefully this makes sense. So this is going to move within one circle rotation, which is 360 degrees or 2 pi, and we divide it by the angle for each individual item, which is fixed, to determine the floating index. But the problem is that from time to time, you know, you can move from the first item, right? So this is the first item, but you can move either left or right. And if you move left, the problem is that you are already at almost 2 pi. So you also need to take into account the direction or the initial direction, right? So to do so, we need to get if the angle value. So the angle can be either negative or positive, right? So if the angle value is less than 0, which is negative, right? We would like to return the float index. Otherwise, we need to do number of cards minus the float index. Basically, we get the other part, right? Anyway, yeah, you don't have to understand everything, but anyway, so and we are going to also have the active index as well, which is a derived value, and we are going to return the math round by the interpolated. Anyway, so this is more in what direction you're moving, right? So now we have the float index and the active index, and we can pass this to the tarot card, which is float index is going to be float index. Float index, it's float index. No, is the interpolated index anyway. So interpolated index. And now if I move to the tarot card, get interpolated index, hit save. So interpolated, it's a shared value as number. Okay, and based on this guy, we can, and also the index itself, we can animate the thing, right? And to do so, we can have here styles, which is a use animated style, which is going to return a transform, and I'm going to have a translate y, and I'm going to interpolate, which is coming from reanimated. Can you see my screen? Okay, you can see my screen. And we are going to interpolate this interpolated index value. We are going to have an index -1. Let me save just to have index and index +1. Come on, prettier. There is no prettier, no prettier. Let me prettify it myself. Okay, so we are going to interpolate this interpolated value, which is a floating float index, and we are going to interpolate based on the current card index, right? Which is index -1, index, and index +1. Basically, then this is when you move to the left, and when you move to the right, what's going to happen? Basically, we are going to get the neighbors, and we are going to say, hey, okay, it's 0, keep it on the same thing. Let's say card size height divided by 2, and then 0 again. And we also like to extrapolate it and do clamp, because we don't care about moving it outside of the range, right? And now this is not working because we need to also send this style, right? So we have this and styles, and now this is animated view. Anyway, okay. Oh yeah, of course. This is not working because I'm also applying a different transform here. So we also need to move this transform inside this rotation. Why is this complaining? Card size card dot e. Is this actually? Let me change a bit. This next track. Why is this not working? I need to do something special. Oh, of course, it's minus, because I don't like to move it up. This is retarded, guys. Anyway, okay, so this is working. This is how it is. We can also do, let's say, 50%. And also change the number of cards to have 40. Play around with the styling now. Okay, this is much better, right? So now we move the cards seamlessly. What's this music, guys? Let me change the music a bit. Anyway, so now we have this animation, and the thing is that when you release the finger, the gesture, when I would like to snap to the closest card based on the active card, right? And to do so, we actually need to go to the gesture itself, right? To the gesture, and have a callback here. When this is going to be finalized, I would like to change the distance to the closest distance, right, possible, because right now we are in the middle, right, and we don't want to have that. So when this decay or applying the velocity has finished, we would like to do some calculations, right? And we would like to have the floating angle, the float angle actually, which is going to be the interpolated index value multiplied by theta, right? And we are also going to have the angle itself, the new float angle and the new angle, which is going to be the active index value multiplied by theta. And I believe it should be with minus. Anyway, so basically what I'm trying to say here is that you might have the distance bigger than the circle circumference, right? So if you are going to rotate 3 times, let's say, you need to rely on one circle circumference in order to avoid moving it too much, right? So you need to take into account that, and to do so you actually need to let me actually show you, because it's so the new value is going to be with spring. Let's say we are going to move with spring to the new angle, and we multiply it with by the circle circumference, so we get the angle circle circumference, and yeah, we have basically the new distance based on the active item again. So now if I'm moving a bit, you see it's snapping. Up, it's snapping. It's snapping. Woof. It's snapping. But what happened if I'm going to move more than the one circle? You see it's whoop, it's moving really fast. Come on, let's me up. Whoa, you see it's moving really like a retard dude. So if I'm on the, you see it's anyway. So the thing is that what we need to first do is the distance to be non-animated by the new floating angle multiplied by the circle circumference. So we basically move really close to the actual distance, and then we animate. So in this way we avoid any snapping pretty much. You see, I release the gesture. Poof. It's so bad because I don't have access to like the velocity to actually showcase how it's actually working. Fucking shit. Whoop. Anyway, so now we have a snapping, and we also need to run on JS, because you also need to have access to this active index on the JS side. So we can have on index change, for example, and we can pass the new the active index thing. So active index value. Let me change the sound. Beatbox time. Let me this one. It's I think it's Run DMC, right, with Aerosmith, kinda. Anyway, so run on JS. Man, the beat, it's powerful. Anyway, so now now we snap into place. And here on the tarot card we can say on index change, it's going to be on index change, and this on index change is going to be a function that's going to receive the index as number, right? And with this on index change we can receive the index and set active index as index. This set active index, it's actually a state. right? And now we can display here text saying active index, it's active index. But I would like to also have it as null and start from null. And we are going to say if we have an active index, display this one. And we also need to import text. Hit save. And to show you exactly what's actually happening, I can also display here a text with the index. Man, my laptop, it's a fucking disaster. Okay, so if I hit save, reload here. Okay, so now we have the cards. Let's say 4. Now is going to be 4, and we have active index for here. Let me position this. Actually, this should be flex 1, just flex 1, and this style, it's here. Let me hit save, refresh. All right, so let me move now. It's in between 2 and 3. Woof, it's 2. But where is the... Come on, man. Style, position, absolute. Okay. But this is falsy in case of index 0, right? So I will say if index is different than null, I will say here null. Okay. Whoop. Whoop. It's 3. It's working, guys. So if I move on the other side of the circle, whoop, it's 38. It's amazing. So this is actually working. Yeah, I think this is it. Let me remove the text. Do you want to see something fancier? Why is this? Ooh, crashed. Why is this not working, man? Fucking shit. Okay, but as you can see from this animation, you see initially the cards are going to be all stack on top of each other and then rotate. You see this effect. So let's actually create this one, and then I'm gonna close this live streaming because it was a complete disaster. And I would like to have a mounted as a use shared value starting from 0, and when this component was mounted, I would like to have a mounted value. I'll have a timing, why not? I'll go to value 1 with a duration of 500. And with this, we can apply a different rotation because everything is if its position. So if I remove here the rotation, you'll see that everything is going to be stacked on top of each other, right? So here are 40 different cards. So if I rotate by, let's say, let's do, actually it was okay. So theta divided by 5. You see, we would like to move this circle. So in order to do this, we are going to interpolate everything. So we are going to interpolate the mounted value, which is going to be 0 and 1. So if it's not mounted, I would like to start from 0. And if it's mounted, I would like to go to theta multiplied by the index, right? And now if I hit save, you'll see that this is going to be animated. This is going to be animated. Fucking shit. Dudes. My dude. My laptop. Anyway, so initially it's going to start from 0 as an angle. And when we mount... Oh, of course. When this component is going to be mounted, I'm going to modify the mounted to go to 1 with a duration of 500 milliseconds. So I'm interpolating this mounted value from 0 to 1 with 0 angle to theta multiplied by the index, right? So now watch what will happen with the cards here. Easy, guys. Let me apply 2000 and also with delay, just to make my fancy computer so I actually need to go to and refresh. So it's going to start from here, everything, and now whoop, see? Nice. Let me make this faster. So if I'm going now to 0, see? Actually, let me do 1 second. And now if I'm going to 1, woof. Woof. Isn't that beautiful, guys? All right, so that was it. Let me do the beatbox one again. Anyway, so the code is going to be available on animate-react-native.com, which is my my thing. Animate-react-native.com. Is this here? Or this one here? I also have another sticker. Boom. I am going to stay for 5 more minutes. If you have any questions, let me actually go to the questions. Can you please create animation like Moose app have? I know nothing about that application. Shoaib. Sorry if I misspelled your name. But feel free to reach out on Twitter with the animation. It's Miron Catalin, my Twitter. welcome back. Thanks, Amir. Thanks a lot. I'm doing my best to entertain you guys. I'm not sure if it's entertaining or not. If you want to have access to more than 100 animations, and this animation including this animation, yeah, just consider becoming part of animate-react-native.com. If it happens for you to be in Poland in September, I'll be giving a talk at React Native Europe. Let me share the link as well. React Native Europe. So is this guy? I'll be in Wrocław. Yeah, talking about animations. If you are not following me on Twitter, yeah, just go ahead, follow me. Anyway, I have 2 more minutes. Thanks, Andre, for staying with me for the entire live stream. I really miss you, and hopefully we are going to see each other soon. Let me go. Can you share your screen again, Sebastian? My VS Code extension, my VS Code theme, it's called Pale Night. Let me share it here. So it's Pale Night. My VS Code theme. Is that a Caliburn? Yes, it's a Caliburn A3. I actually have 2 of them. And I also have this Geek Vape. But I don't like it. I don't like it at all. It's like, and I also had something from Vaporesso. But it's pretty shitty. Unfortunately, I've heard a lot of good things about Vaporesso, but this Caliburn, it's amazing. Yeah, just go ahead, Navanshu. Yeah, just go ahead, ask the question. And I also have some pretty good UK-based juice from my friends. This one, Dinner Lady, it's amazing. Unfortunately, you cannot find it everywhere in Europe. So if you have someone from the UK, I highly recommend it. It's a lot of smoke, but the flavor, it's amazing. Yeah, alpha. No, man, I'm Sigma rules. Yeah, no, but the pods are amazing. So just look at this pod here. And I'm using it for, I believe, 2 weeks now. It's fucking amazing. And the flavor, it's there. The only downside, actually, of those pods is that, especially this A3, it's, I believe, 500 milliampere hour, which is like too low. So, yeah, if you're smoking a lot. So I am a web developer, got into React Native. I see nobody uses on move or on scroll. It is the gesture handler that substitutes for the above. Actually, not really. So you have multiple lists inside React Native. So let me actually share the screen. So you have multiple lists inside React Native. Let me. So you can do it in two different ways, right? Let me create here a function. My scrolling, and you can either return here like you can have a flat list, for example, which requires some data like cards, for example, and you can hook it to the onScroll event, and the onScroll event is going to give you the native event content offset, the X and Y, right? So if you have a vertical scroll, you can hook it to the Y value. If you have the horizontal, you can hook it to the X, right? But the problem is that this is not performant because you are going to get this event over the bridge. So it's not going to run at 60 FPS. And there are two ways. One, it's using animated API, and unfortunately, I don't know the the API. It's, I believe, it was like scroll Y, something like that. Use ref by the new. Actually, yeah, this is it. And now inside this onScroll, you can have an animated event, and you can pass. Oh fuck it, I can't remember. I don't know. But the other way around is to actually have scroll Y, which is shared value. So this is using reanimated, right? Starting from 0, and then you have the onScroll event, which is use scroll view offset, which is a new API coming from reanimated, but you can also use the use animated scroll handler, which is basically exactly the onScroll event, but this time it's coming from the native side. So this event it's a callback as onScroll, but it's directly on the UI thread. So you're changing this value directly from the UI without going over the bridge. And this event, it has two different ways to hook it to it. So if you're just interested in the onScroll event, you can get directly the event like this and assign the scroll value, the new offset value. Or if you have multiple events like on momentum scroll, for example, you can remove this guy here and pass it as an object, and you'll have here on begin drag, on momentum scroll end, exactly as you mentioned here. What is it? On move and on scroll. So yeah, you have multiple events here. So you can also have the event itself for the scroll, right? You can hook it, but you can also say, okay, now let me also hook it when the scroll actually ended, and it's the on momentum scroll end, and you can do whatever, right? And don't forget to make this an animated flat list, right? And I don't know why is this complaining, but anyway, so yeah, this is how you actually hook. Yeah, the problem with my tutorials nowadays on YouTube is that they are really using the animated API that's coming from React Native. But now I tend to use reanimated because it's way more powerful than the animated API. But yeah, this is how it is. Oh, this is a cola flavor. Nice. Yeah, I'm using Calibird. Vodka. Like connecting, yeah. I was thinking about other things to put in, but yeah. Are there any other questions, guys? Any other questions? I'm here to help as much as possible, guys. Don't want to leave you. Hopefully, Navanshu, hopefully this actually answered your question. So if you cannot install Reanimated for some reason, I don't know, just go ahead to my previous YouTube tutorials. I'm showing there the power of animated API along with different type of lists. But if you are into Reanimated, unfortunately I don't have any tutorials here on YouTube, but I plan on doing them where I'm actually showcasing use animated scroll handler and things like that. Autoplay video slider. Yeah, actually, I was working with some guys from the UK, and I have created a pretty solid slider for video. I'm not sure if I'm. I can actually show it to you. Can I create a swap? Okay. Yeah. Hopefully, maybe I have a video with it. Boom, boom, boom. Give me a second. I have no recordings with it. Or do I have it? Yeah, so I'm not sure if you can see it here. You see it? The latest version does not work. I learned that the hard way. The latest version of what? Sorry. If you have questions, hi at animate. Or just go ahead to animate-react-native.com. There are a couple of different email addresses, or follow me on Twitter. Twitter.com Miron Catalin. Let me do another song here. Oh no. Like loop and autoplay. I don't know, man. I don't know what is React Native Snap Carousel. You can use it, of course. I don't know, man. Reanimated V3, it's working. I actually had a workshop with Christoph, the creator of Reanimated. a Tab.js conference, I think 2 months ago. Everything went quite well. I mean, if you're saying that something is not working, you need to give some directions. What's not working? Why is not working? What's your environment? You need to be more specific, because the latest version of Reanimated is not working, is not enough, unfortunately. If you have ever been like a library maintainer, you know what I mean. Oh, got you. Yeah, you can actually do it using EAS builds. I don't know exactly what. Expo is complaining and asking to downgrade if for Expo Go client. If you have a dev client, it's not going to complain anymore. I was using Expo, but whatever I went through, it's you can easily use React Native CLI. You just need to have Reanimated installed and gesture handlers. Yeah. Anyway, guys, if you have any other questions, hit me up on Twitter. Buy a lifetime license on animatereactnative.com if you want to have access to more than 100 different applications. And by the way, if you want to see the shared element transition, there is you can download the App Store version or Google Play Store. Right now this is using the old there are 2 buttons there, you can download them. Now it's using React Navigation v5, I believe, but I'm in the work of rewriting everything using Reanimated v3 shared element transition. So yeah, stay tuned for that. The dev client, it's a custom client that you can build with Expo, where you can inject any native module. Expo Go, it's the app that has the Expo SDK already in place, and you cannot inject any native dependency outside of what Expo provides, pretty much. Can I read your comment? I don't know what the fuck is going on here, guys. Sunny days. This one was good. This has a really nice kick and snare. I think so. Not even sure. Nah, it's not this one. Flames. Oh, this one. Russian River. Yeah, no worries, mate. I have actually live streamed. Let me share the link with you. If you go to my YouTube channel, YouTube, I have actually streamed. I think a couple of weeks ago, um, while I was integrating like a custom blur view using Expo. So is this one? Where I'm actually creating a new ES build, which gives you, full control over your native dependencies, and you can pretty much integrate any native module through Expo config plugin. Let me search for some music here. What can I play? Dream It. Let's listen to some reggae. Funky. Funky. It's amazing. I don't know. Any advice? Which one is better, React Native or Flutter? Fulter. It doesn't matter which one is better. What matter? If it's a usable app for your users, my friend. I don't like frameworks that are trying to reinvent the wheel as Flutter is doing. Any advice on how to best fetch and load data from an external API and how to manage when the user is still on the app? Yeah, I believe to fetch data, I think React Query is really good, and for state management, I'm really a huge fan of Zustad. So yeah, and also TRPC I think is quite good, but React Query I think React Query plus Zustad it's really good for fetching anything. This music is like, I wanna listen to reggae, dude. Okay. Guys, if you have any other questions, I'm going to stay here for one more minute. Oh, there is a question. Are you planning to make video on Zustand for React Native? Yeah, I think I have some plans. Yes. Those are. I don't care that much about the tools, but I care about the goals pretty much. If that's why I actually like animations, because those are like user facing. Because users they don't care that much about your technology behind the scene. So it doesn't actually matter as long as the app it's performant, it's usable, and yeah. Do you have a tutorial covering Zustand? No, I don't have anything related to Zustand, but I can do it, sure. Why not? Yeah, Cosmin. It's pretty straightforward, exactly. I think what I was not able to. I mean, I haven't searched for it on YouTube, but is this the power, right, of creating different custom hooks, right? And I haven't found any like tutorials and things like that explaining or walk you through how to actually trigger different other queries based on some mutations or some other queries, right? Or invalidating different queries based on whatever is happening, right? So I'll give you an example. You are triggering a mutation. When that have succeeded, you'd like to start polling, for example, with different arguments and things like that. So I haven't found like good tutorials, or I can't remember of any right now that's actually going through those scenarios, which are kind of like real use cases, pretty much. Yes, you can buy animate react-native.com license using any cards, anything. Oh yeah. I agree with you. It's like, but I was more into like, you know, Cosmin. I'm referring to your comment. I was referring to like real life use cases. Like I don't know, this to-do list, right? You have different endpoints that you like to invalidate some queries. You wanna like perform different other operations. Like you have a custom hook, for example, for getting the latest list of to-dos, for example, which is a polling. Which is using a polling mechanism, and whenever it's this combination, I think it's kind of like missing. Yeah, it seems that a lot of startups, companies, and developers are struggling with state management. Thank you so much, Himmel. Yes, it's fantastic and it's growing. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Hi from hip hop for hip hop one. Check it out. Nice. Yeah, Zustad plus React Query, definitely. I'm gonna think about a possible scenario, like, I don't know, creating something around React Native. Maybe if you have different tips here, like what should I create, hit me up. I was more thinking about like maybe fetching movies from TMDB, and also creating this favoriting and things like that. Or maybe you have different other APIs, something, I don't know, where I can also have some state, but also some mutations, some queries, some things. Guys, I'll also appreciate a like and a share for this live stream. If it's too much, leave it for the other video. Otherwise, see you soon. Hopefully, hopefully I'll figure it out why my laptop is really slow while doing live streaming. But yeah. Otherwise, bottom up instead of top to bottom. Yeah, it's easily decoupable. You can easily decouple it from the rest of, and it's not related to React. So Zustad, it's working outside of React, which is quite powerful actually, because if you are using, for example, a background task which doesn't have any React context inside React Native, and you would like to store some informations and things like that, it's quite useful to use Zustad. Katalin, do you have any tricks to improve React Native performance on Android, especially animations? There is a big performance difference between iOS and Android. Yeah, unfortunately, this is true. I believe Reanimated is trying to achieve 60 FPS even more on Android as well. The problem is with low grade, with high-end devices, I think it's quite good, but with low grade devices, I think it really sucks. As a tip, I think try to avoid like fetching too many things and also performing animations, and try to decouple this as much as possible. And yeah, I think I can't figure it out. Like I cannot think about like a performance problem on Android from Reanimated side, to be fair, especially with the new core, with the new shared values. I think it's quite performant. But tips, I think don't try to avoid doing too many things and make the animations at core level, at component level, and try to avoid the state as much as possible. Especially with reanimated, you can use shared values that are going to trigger animations, for example. Don't rely on state changes for animations, for example, or don't do state changes for animations. Use shared values instead. I'm a handsome dude. Yeah, I think I'm not handsome, but anyway, thank you very much. I am flattered. When is your next live? I plan on doing live sessions, yeah, on a daily basis, to be fair with you. The thing is that my laptop nowadays is struggling with live streaming, and I believe that I have fixed some issues which I had on the previous stream, and now I'm still trying to figure it out how to do it properly. But I believe, yeah, at least once a week. If you use React Query, do you need any other state management lib? Yes, I think so. Yeah, so especially for offline, I like Konstantin because we have discussed this issue recently, but I believe for offline support, you definitely need some other state management library. It has offline support as well, but I think it's yeah, it depends. Yeah, just change the value of a shared value. If you just wanna yeah, I think if you just if, for example, if you wanna toggle an animation based on press, you can easily create shared values and trigger the animation directly from the on press. So yeah, yeah, modifying shared values. And by the way, you also have the use animated reaction that you can hook to a shared value and trigger something on the JavaScript side. If you really wanna, I don't know, set some state and things like that based on some animation value change, you can do it. Yeah, Cosmin, just to answer to like to your question and to your like thought about React Native in general being kind of like slow on shitty Android devices, or like old or like really cheap Android devices. It's true in some cases, like for example for lists or for displaying different images. I found it like really hard when dealing with images and videos on Android because you need to have like downscale version, because otherwise Android is going to struggle with caching everything, and yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot, especially with camera, for example. It's also quite hard to do a performant app using a camera on low-graded devices, like really bad Android devices. Anything, guys? Because otherwise I'm gonna jump. How I get soil good? I can't understand your question, but if the question was how to get good at animations using reanimated, is by practice. Fail and come back. Fail and come back. It's a lot of failures. It's a lot of work underneath. I'm doing animations since React Native was invented, pretty much. Almost 8 years ago, 7 years ago. Anyway, it's a lot of trial and error, failures, and yeah, a lot of repetition. Yeah, I have built more than, I don't know, 300, 400 animations. Like, I think it's a lot of work. Practice, aftab, practice a lot. Alrighty, guys. That was it. See you in the next one. And yeah, as I've always mentioned,